الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And like this, we will rescue all the believers. He was a Nabi of Allah. This rescue was not only special for him. وَكَذَلِكَ نُنْجِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Like this, I will rescue all the believers. That when you are stuck, do something righteous. All the ulama, past and present, they tell you when you are facing a musibah, rush to do a righteous deed at that very moment. And then submit to Allah. And watch Allah rescue you from your troubles. All of us, we have so many problems. That's between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether it's with our spouses or children, or our siblings or parents or uncles and aunts. Every Muslim has a problem with somebody. Or we have problems in our society, which all of us face. We're being targeted, we're being mocked, and all these other things. Rush to do khair, like supporting this masjid, where you can use this as an avenue to reach out to the people around you, to correct their ideas of Islam, by welcoming them, inviting them to the masjid. There was a Sahaba, this is also a hadith in Bukhari, his name was Umama ibn Uthal. He was captured by the Sahaba and tied to the pillar of Masjid Al-Nabawi for 3 days. Nobody talked to him, nobody did anything. 3 days he was tied to the pillar. After the 3rd day, so from Fajr to Isha for 3 whole days, he was tied to the pillar, observing what this man Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions do. After the 3rd day, he called, "Ya Muhammad, come here." And he said, "What?" He gave him his hand and he said, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah." Here was a disbeliever, an idol worshipper who was captured by the Muslims, tied to the pillar. Nobody talked with him. But after 3 days, just 3 days, he saw enough in the Muslims of what was being said in the masjid. And he said, this has to be the true religion, I'll accept. So many non-Muslims, after September 11th, they came to the masajid. Even if there was nobody there, maybe they walked in, read an English translation of the Quran, and they accepted. They took the Shahada. We know so many stories like that. Now imagine those who funded that masjid, even though they weren't present, but it was their money that gave an access to a non-Muslim to learn the truth, to hear the truth, and became a Muslim. So you don't know. After you pass away, after you die, how many non-Muslims may come to this specific masjid, hear a talk like this, read a book, read a translation of the Quran, and then take the Shahada. You will see it on Yawm al-Qiyamah and be surprised, how did I get this reward? But Allah will remind you that you helped and build that specific masjid where so-and-so took a Shahada. So these are things that you have to remember. And most importantly, forget all these things. The most important thing for you as a father and mother are these kids. Who is going to teach them Islam if they don't come to the houses of Allah? Who is going to teach them Islam? YouTube, the media, all these wrong things that they say. So this is an opportunity that you leave behind a legacy for these kids, that they have a house to go to. They have a place to have some recreation. And the brother showed me the space that you have at the back. Even the Sahaba, the younger Sahaba, they used to have horse riding, spear throwing, wrestling in the masajid and in the property of the masajid. May Allah bless you with money that maybe you can make a basketball court. Call the kids, call the youth. It's not always about praying and lectures. They need recreation. Even the Sahaba needed recreation. But they used to come to the masjid. They're attached to the house of Allah. You might send your son to a regular basketball place. You drop them off, pick them up at such and such time, but you have no control over what kid will be telling your son what. Who knows knows if this person has any belief in Allah, any fear of Allah or not. So many cases where kids are lost. And before I end, I want to share a personal story that, wallah, this is a true story. Just to make you parents understand the importance of masjids. This was when I used to live in Texas. I did my secular education in Texas State University. So while there, I used to, be active in the masjid as well. There was a young brother who was having some troubles, and his mother told me that, you're young. I was 20 years old back then. That my son, maybe he'll listen to somebody younger, closer to his age, who grew up here, this and that. Maybe you can reach out to him. Take him to the masjid when you go and listen to lectures. His house was on the way from my house to the masjid. So we used to take him. Me and my couple of other friends, we took him. Every now and then there was some change in his behavior, mashallah, so the mother was very happy. But then, of course, sometimes our fathers don't understand the importance of the masjid. And I hate to say it, but sometimes the fathers don't. They're more worried about education, job, salary, this, that. So the father got upset with the mother and said he doesn't need to go to the masjid every day. Let him do homework. He's gonna, no need to, we want him to become an engineer, doctor, whatever. Those are the two things that Muslim parents dream of. There's many other professions in this world, but we only think of doctor or engineer. But anyways, so that, likewise, that's what he was saying. So for a few months, he didn't come to all the lectures. He went back, paid attention, started hanging around with his non-Muslim friends again, this and that. So after about 5-6 months of not seeing him, that same father who had a fight with his wife over this issue, when we finished Salat al-Isha, the Imam gave salam and there was about 20 brothers in the masjid, myself included. We saw that same father rushing into the masjid, crying his heart out, almost having a heart attack. What happened? So he was telling our Imam, Sheikh, I am ruined. My son has